go 1 and then 2. Yes. So the question was, in terms of the actual lead character of Dom himself, what inspired you to create him, or was that inspired by somebody specific?
It was me. It's me. I only spent 4 days in my whole life in London when I wrote the script. But I was incredibly helped by our cast and crew to get me to learn it. And then, as a filmmaker, at a certain point, you take this creation and you hand it to someone, and you pray that they're Jude Law. Oh, thank you.
I wanted to set it I wanted to set him somewhere where I felt comfortable. So I kind of encouraged him to set it in, or have Dom come from South East London, which is where I'm from. So I was, in my mind, he's from Woolwich. He's not from Regent's Park Road, no. In my mind, he's from Woolwich, and we shot the pub for the Half Mast was in Woolwich, on the Woolwich Road and around there.
The second question there?
I thought the relationship between Dom and Vicky was amazing, and I was wondering what you did to prepare for that role, or during casting, kind of how you worked through that.
So the question was in terms of the characters of Jude and Richard over there, in terms of how you developed your relationships together.
Months together. We all slept together, and that's how it worked.
And we will tonight also.
We have a whole backstory, which really you don't want to know. It goes on for years. We have a sequel too, actually.
We do. We're going to Vegas.
Dom Dicky do Vegas.
We'll just jump in the corner.
Everything I said was scripted. Absolutely, yeah, every single word. I think every word we all said was scripted. It was, sometimes you get scripts that are so beautifully written and so full and so complex, you don't want to change it. Because believe you me, you get lots of scripts which aren't like that. And you spend a lot of the time on the set saying, do I have to say this and should I say that? And maybe we can do this without that. And with this one, we stuck exactly to what we had. I mean, we tweaked it in rehearsal, you and I, right?
We did.
A little tiny bit, but never more than a word here or a word there.
But on our first meeting, Jude said, I think we should shoot that scene on the first day. And I'm going to just walk on the set naked. And we did. And the crew was like, wow, this is going to be a good job.
Sorry, follow.
Are you asking her out right now? All right.
Same though. We'll move on. We're not saying. Perfect. How did you come up with the name Dom Hemingway?
Well, I've always wanted to use Dom in a movie, and so I've always just felt like it was a good name. And then Hemingway seemed, there is something poetic about Dom, and I don't know, it just made sense. And once I typed it, I looked at it for a really long time until the words mean nothing, and you're looking at it. But I was like, I think this is a good name, and it is. So that's what it was.
To jump on that note, I want to say that in terms of, obviously, your title character, incredibly colorful character, you did have to go and create this entire world of unique characters, and I just want to talk about the casting process for everyone else, how you found everyone here.
Well, I really did write the role of Vicky for Mr. Grant here, and I was just a huge fan of his, and With Neil and I is one of my favorite movies. And it's funny, I sometimes write with actors in mind and sometimes not. I didn't have anyone in in mind for Dom. But I did have Richard in mind, and as these things happened, literally I was like, well, I like Richard E. Grant, and Jeremy, our producer, was like, well, let's just get him the script. And I'm like, oh, is that how this is happening? And then it's like, and Richard E. Grant likes it, and he wants to Skype with you. And I was like, holy fuck. And I had like the most awkward 15-minute Skype where we're like making small talk and talking, and the film's not financed, and we're just having this thing, but you said you'd do it, and I helped you do it. And then Demian, the part really was written for a British person, but as we started going, Jude had several suggestions in casting. Lester, the young kid who sort of runs that club, was originally written for Lester's father, and Jude in before rehearsals, in casting said, I think you should hire someone younger, I think it'd be more interesting. And in the same thing, he said, I think Mr. Fontaine should not be from England. And so these ideas were sort of just ways to broaden the movie and it just made it more interesting. And so Damien's name came up, and I was like, holy shit, okay, and there we go. And then Madalena auditioned and promised me that she could really sing. And was amazing, and so we cast her, and then Amelia also promised me she could sing, but was auditioned, and Jude ended up auditioning with a lot of the actors in the movie, which normally doesn't happen, and just sort of talking about the commitment he had towards this character. But I mean, I love all 5 of these actors. I'm very lucky.
In the balcony, I don't want to ignore anyone if you do have questions, or perhaps I can't see you, or you're just the shy bunch. That's okay too. So we'll just jump right back down. Let's go. Jump right back.
I like how the artwork in the background, like the children sort of tapes and the things like the songs and the viewer as always. Was that something you scripted in, or was that just the director?
Yeah, the question was in terms of like the artwork and somewhat of the humorous elements involved with that. Was that art director's choice to do us?
Well, our production designer Lawrence Dorman and I worked really closely, but for that big scene with the monkey portraits by Jill Greenberg, I really wanted something dramatic on the wall, because it was a really dramatic scene and funny, and we were beating ourselves up about what to do, and one day Lawrence came into the office and he's like, Jill Greenberg! And so that's how that happened. And then when we were prepping this movie, I had just directed this episode of Girls, in which Lena plays ping pong topless. And I was stuck in my brain. And then I was like, maybe the artwork in Lester's office should be just 2 people playing ping pong with each other. So now that's on a permanent loop in my house, which is really fun.
I'm gonna swing left here.
Okay, so for Dom, I was actually wondering, since he has a very interesting way of speaking, if any of his speech was very hard for you to kind of remember, was also important thoughts.
So the question is for Jude, and in terms of developing Dom Hemingway's speech patterns.
They were, as I said before, they were scripted, and the long rants were they're kind of when things are well written, it's sort of easy to learn, to be honest with you. I often got muddled up whether it was a fuck or a fucking, a fucked up fucker, or a fuck. But other than that, I did all right. We did sometimes get a little. I think you came over one line. No, you're calling it a fucking fuck, not a fucked up fuck. So,
Advisor had a heart attack.
It was honestly, it was quite easy to learn, just because it was very well written.
I think there was someone in the back, that gentleman, or your hand went back down. No, all right, I'm gonna move in the front. Okay, geez, who had it first here? I'm sunglasses.
I look at it now, and it's like this big deal, like, I don't feel like I look that out of shape. I mean, I just had this feeling like, you know, okay, he's gone to seed, he's let himself go. So I thought this is a great excuse. I didn't have some like aim. I just had this feeling that I wanted. I wanted to feel like soaked, you know. I wanted to feel like I'd been eating porridge and whiskey all day, every day for years. Oh, lots of ice cream, 10 cans of Coke a day, a lot of whiskey, a lot of smoking, burgers, late night eating. Late night eating got good. Like after 11 o'clock, just when you're ready for bed, have some lasagna. And it was just a kind of, like I said, it was just a, you know, just letting myself go, really, generally, in every facet of my life.
I'm going to go Lady in the Blue.
I love the pool scene. Can you tell me, like the guys were during the pool scene, how long it took to shoot that? 'Cause it looked kind of nippy after a while.
It was.
It was about the pool scene.
That experience for me was really extraordinary. To push me in the pool. And it's right, I promised Richard that I'm a good singer, and obviously I'm not. And I also promised him that I can swim, and I can't really swim, so the moment that he pushed me into the water for me was really dramatic. Oh well, here I am, I'm alive, that's the most important.
Gentleman in the grid.
I was just wondering, you started showing some humanity towards the end of the movie, but then the very last scene, you kind of showed his viciousness reappeared again when you took the earring off, or the ring off the hand, sorry, the ring. Why did you decide to finish it with his nastier side rather than this promise of his dead life?
So the question was in terms of like the actual ending and how you developed like kind of this humanity, but then in the end you kind of show a bit of his vicious side again. So why did you choose to end it on that?
I mean, to me, that is a really important end to the tale, really, because he is who he is, and it would have been too pat and too straightforward to think that what had just happened to him would really change who he was. I think it's what, to me, makes it a fully rounded story. And the question I always hope you walk out feeling is, will he make it to pick up this little boy? Will his relationship continue? And I'm sure the audience would probably be split down the middle as to whether they think he really will or whether, because in the end, if you cut him, it's what he says in the middle is, he's a fuck. And,
I feel like it was important for us to not make the story so clean at the end, because Dom is not a clean person. And so for me, it was about, there is humanity in him. And we debated whether he would pick up his, it's just weird. Who knows? I don't know. We don't know. Sequel in Vegas, you'll find out.
I'm going to swing left.
What's with the teeth? What do you mean? They're my teeth. I don't know. I guess I have a friend. Well, I remember there was a line in the script which said he grins and his mouth is brown and gold or something like that. And I have a friend who has this like little gold cap, and I've always wanted one, so I got one of those. And a tooth. And I just thought, he smokes 40 a day, 50 a day, and has done probably for 30 years. So I thought, probably not got the nicest of smiles. And dentistry in Her Majesty's pleasure is not so good.
In the head?
Yeah, I was just thinking, like the last scene, sorry to go back to that, you say that what it seems to indicate is more that he's trying to become a smart criminal, like he's learning it in that way.
So the question is, in terms of, once again, the ending, is there this notion that he's evolving to become a smarter criminal?
No. But he's evolving into being a better person. So who knows if he'll be able to continue his life of crime. I find it interesting that that all of Dom's choices, you know, if you think about, he kept quiet probably because he would have been killed if he didn't keep quiet. But he also kept quiet for that money. And what did he sacrifice from that? Would it have been if he had testified? Would he have gotten out and then been killed? I mean, who knows? So I like the complicated nature of it. I think he's not so easy to pin down. And I think that's part of the fun of the movie and also the fun of him.
Yes?
I would love to hear Damien speak. So my question is for you.
You would like me to talk? Do you want me to sing?
I first fell in love with you as a
Thank you.
and I have to say I love you as this boy drug lord.
Oh, right here? Yeah.
And that's in my head, that's what you are.
Oh, yeah, thank you. A better life. Thank you. Thanks so much.
I'm wondering if we show, the gender side or maybe a romantic side or.
So I'm just going to jump in as well and say we have fan Damien. And a comment was made, of course, in Performance in a Better Life. And in that sense, could you even maybe contrast what it's like for you to shoot a film like that as opposed to a character that's obviously very much incredibly different than
Yeah,
that?
well, I'm not looking for a specific type of character. I'm looking for things like this. Great writing, a juicy character, fantastic director that can take risks with you, with all of us, and an amazing cast. So